So at this point with Kemba Walker, it should not be a total surprise that he has basically been removed from the rotation, like Tom Thibodeau has said at this point for the New York Knicks. And really, a lot of it, I'm not trying to blame Tom Thibodeau, I'm not trying to blame the coaching staff, but it never was going to fit with Kemba Walker and what the New York Knicks are trying to do as a basketball team. As a basketball team, the New York Knicks want to play incredible defense, get out in transition, and, in their moments, get their fast break points and have decent, efficient half court offense. They don't want to be the team running up and down the court like Kemba Walker is more accustomed to doing as a guy who can just get the ball and run down the court, hit layups, hit threes, do what Kemba Walker does. That's not what he's going to be able to do with the New York Knicks rotation. And especially when you think of the fact that, Julius Randle is basically the guy for this team. RJ Barrett is the secondary threat for this team. Alec Burks, Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly. Like, there's other guys who deserve to have the ball on this team in a extended role. And at this point, Kemba Walker has not been able to efficiently put himself into that rotation as a completely consistent guy. With last night's win against the Golden State Warriors, the Phoenix Suns effectively proved a couple things. And that is one, that they are probably the best team in the Western Conference. Up to last night's point, was thinking that Golden State was probably going to be the team to take the Western Conference trophy and probably win the NBA Finals. But now, after losing last night, and in the way that Golden State lost last night, I think it's really Phoenix's conference to lose. And putting aside the win totals, putting aside the win streak that Phoenix is on, if you just look at how effectively they shut down the Golden State Warriors last night, there's no real reason to think that Phoenix would lose to Golden State in a 7-game series or not win the West in general again this year. Now, it should be noted that last night Devin Booker did not play a majority of the game. He did go out somewhat halfway through the second quarter of last night's game. But even when he was on the court, it's not like Devin Booker was playing incredibly. He was a -5 when he was on the court in plus minus. And when he went off the floor, he was a plus 13 the team was a plus 13 with Devin Booker off of the floor. The only two guys who had a worse off the floor plus minus was Landry Shamet and Cameron Payne. JaVale McGee as well, actually. But JaVale McGee, he played about 8 minutes, so I didn't really count him. But with that being said, Devin Booker had a -18 plus minus when you talk about his on and off the floor plus minus. He just in general did not look great, and the Phoenix Suns were able to play well without him. And I think that's something that Golden State really cannot help but change, because when you look at what Golden State does do well, obviously the shooting is great. Obviously the ball movement is great. Obviously their motion on offense is great. And obviously their, team defense is incredible. When you look at guys like even Steph Curry at that point guard spot, when you look at guys like Draymond Green, when you look at Andrew Wiggins who stepped up, when you look at guys around them who have stepped up like Kevon Looney in absence of James Wiseman, or you look at Jordan Poole in absence of Klay Thompson, or Damian Lee, or just guys in general who have had to step up in a bigger role and have done a decent job at that. Now, this was the only game all season where the Golden State Warriors lost by more than 2 possessions. It's the only game all year where the Golden State Warriors did not score 100 points in a game. And there's one guy who I really want to give a boatload, actually 2 guys who I really want to give a boatload of credit to for what the Phoenix Suns have been able to do, not only last night in this win against the Golden State Warriors, but all season with how well that they have played and been able to step up. Now, we see it all the time where a rookie or second-year player makes an incredible splash during a playoff run or has an incredible regular season. They get a boatload of expectations and hype over that offseason, and they fail to live up to those expectations that we set for them over the offseason. 2 guys who have actually probably exceeded their own and their own team's expectations for how well that they have played is Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton. Now, DeAndre Ayton was probably the main focus for how the Phoenix Suns are going to beat the Golden State Warriors as long as they don't have James Wiseman. There is nobody on the Golden State Warriors who can cover DeAndre Ayton in a 38-minute stretch or, however long DeAndre Ayton is going to be on the floor, which If he wants to be as successful as he needs to be playing 34 to 40 minutes a game in a playoff series. That's just how it's going to work. And, we all love Draymond Green's defense. We don't all love Draymond Green, but his defense is incredible. And he couldn't even really do anything with DeAndre Ayton. With his size, with his height, with his ability to have really good footwork, with his ability to go over either shoulder and put up those shots, DeAndre Ayton is almost unstoppable for the Golden State Warriors. Kevon Looney can't do it. Draymond Green can't do it. I don't know who else can do it if James Wiseman is not there. The other guy, Mikal Bridges. I didn't know this, but Mikal Bridges has missed, 2 games in the last 3 seasons? If you look at Mikal Bridges, his games played go 82, 72, and 73. Now, obviously, one of those seasons is the shortened year in the bubble during the COVID pandemic, and the other season was last year where they only played 72 games regular season. Mikal Bridges is the NBA Iron Man right now. And not only with that, he's just been probably the number one defensive option Phoenix has had in the past 3 or 4 seasons since he got to Phoenix. And if you're talking about a team who is probably going to be going against one of either Brooklyn, Milwaukee, or Miami in a final series, if Phoenix does make it to the finals, you're asking Mikal Bridges to be the guy to cover either Kevin Durant, James Harden, Jimmy Butler, or possibly even someone like Drew Holiday, possibly someone even like, another good ball handler for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know who else it is other than Drew Holiday. Probably Chris Middleton. But at the end of the day, I think Mikal Bridges is more than equipped to do that. We saw what he did last night against, Steph, against anyone he was covering. Whether Klay Thompson comes back and plays well or not, I think Mikal Bridges is going to be the guy where if one of those guys, either Steph or Klay or someone else, is starting to heat up for Golden State, Mikal Bridges is going to be that stopper that Phoenix has needed over the past couple of seasons. And he has given them everything that they need from him. I don't think it's an overstatement at this point to say that the Phoenix Suns are going to win the NBA Finals. Now, I do believe that it's dumb to say those sort of things at this point in the season, but Phoenix has proved everything that they have needed to prove. You look at every single one of their games over this season, and there has not been a single disappointment in terms of their scheduling. Yes, they do lose early to Denver and Portland, and they start with a 1-3 record, in which they did lose to the Sacramento Kings as well. But like everyone knows, they've won 17 straight since then. They've won against Portland. They've won against Dallas. They've won against New York. They've won in Brooklyn against Golden State. They've proved a lot of things over this 17-game stretch. And with games against Detroit coming up, San Antonio, Boston, another game in Golden State, there's a chance that this win streak gets to 20 games. There's a chance that they really improve their record over the Golden State Warriors and really lock up this number 1 seed a lot earlier than a lot of people expected. And as long as everyone stays healthy, which Devin Booker did go down last night with, I believe, a hamstring or groin issue, as long as he comes back and is playing well and everyone else stays healthy around them, him and Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges, other guys like Cam Johnson, other guys like Jay Crowder, Cam Payne, they've got a lot of guys. They've got 8 or 9 deep that they go. And who knows, maybe they even make another move to shore up their backup backcourt, or maybe get another forward to back up Jay Crowder and Mikal Bridges alongside Cam Johnson. Who knows? But at the end of the day, right now, this probably is the most talented team in the Western Conference outside of Golden State. This is probably the most talented team in the NBA outside of Brooklyn and Golden State. And what they don't have in talent compared to those two teams, they have an incredible ability to play together that rivals Golden State's, that completely dwarfs what Brooklyn does in terms of a team basketball mindset. And with all that put together, I see no other team that could beat Phoenix in a 7-game series.